Cutting across all communities, Media Plus spoke to some prominent faces of the state with regards to their views and opinions on the aftermath of the recent misunderstanding between the Bengalis and Khasis in Ichamati, a place bordering Meghalaya and Bangladesh. The unfortunate incident that resulted in the death of a local had sparked off protests and differences between the Bengalis and Khasis within the state. Based on the Ichamati incident, there had also been reaction from the states of Assam and West Bengal. On this, we first spoke to Dr. A.S. Guha, the former regional director of IGNOU in Shillong. Dr. Guha said his family had been residents of Meghalaya for a very, very long time. According to him, the differences were uncalled for, and what seems like a local incident has instead provoked emotional reactions from residents of a few states like Assam and West Bengal, while the ground reality is in fact a continued peaceful coexistence between all communities within the state of Meghalaya.
Firstly, I will say that this is very unfortunate, and everything took place in February in Ichamati, and things subsided after that. So I don't know how it was revived. Apparently, 3 people from Ichamati went and met the governor of our state and gave a representation. That is a little intriguing because it happened just on the eve of the PUJAs, and that was a very sensitive point and time. Secondly, there appears to give it a Hindu, non-Hindu coloring, which I think, objectively speaking, is not right. I mean, how can you speak on behalf of all the Hindus or other communities, the Biharis, the Marwadis, and so on? So that happened, and of course we know that there was a reaction by the Students' Union. That shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Right.
Because that triggered off the chain of circumstances. And people were worried, and understandably so, that it was happening just on the eve of Durga Puja.
True.
Something would have happened. But wiser sense prevailed among all the people of our state, and nothing happened. Well, West Bengal, the reaction was by a group I've never heard of.
Right.
And I don't think they represent the Bengali community, at least in West Bengal. That was, of course, surprising that it happened in West Bengal, because normally such things don't happen in West Bengal.
Right.
At least in the city of Calcutta, which is quite tolerant. I think there should be more understanding, more collaboration, more empathy, and then only things will be better. It is not that they are not there, they are there at the individual level, but at the societal level, at the community level, someone must take a step forward and reach out.
That's true. The president of the Hynniewtrep Youth Council, or the HYC, Mr. Robert Kharjahrin, had also expressed his views on the differences that had arisen out of the recent incident at Ichamati. He is of the opinion that people are emotionally driven, and reactions of hate had been incited by a few people with vested interests. Kharjahrin strongly insisted on the arrest of those involved in the clashes, be they of any community.
With regard to Ichamati incident, it's something or is an issue which is has been blown out of proportion by vested interest people. Who is this vested interest people? Some religious fanatic person. And the other person who are vested interest are outsider who were led by political agenda. You know, you do your proper research in the state of Meghalaya. Since Meghalaya came into statehood, I don't think so that you will have even a single case of religious persecution. Nobody is targeting anybody because you belong to some religious faith.
Exactly.
You see like even the indigenous people in the state of Meghalaya, who stay in Nartiang or who stay in in other part like Shillong or some of the Khasi are Hindu. Some of Khasi, they are Muslim. Some of Khasi, majority of the Khasi now they're Christian. And many of the Khasi still hold the indigenous faith. So among the Khasi community or among the Hynniewtrep people, I don't see that we different ourselves based on religion. Of course, there are some force, political force and other try to do that, but till date they have not succeeded. The people did not buy that perspective, that agenda that we should divide the community in religious line. No, no one's willing to buy that, at least till now. So they claim that Hindu were persecuted, this were persecuted, that were persecuted. It's something that they just make it up. This agenda, which is driven by lunatic people, or in Khasi, which we used to call the Buat Niam, no? Buat Niam. So this kind of people have their own agenda. The second vested interest people, as I tell you, are people from outside the state, mostly from West Bengal and Assam. Why? Because 2021 is election in both West Bengal and Assam. And Bengali community play a very important role in Assam, and West Bengal election, Bengalis always play a role. So everyone want to become hero. Actually, the politics are the main reason behind this. Okay. You cannot rule out that. Okay. So, 1-2 incident it will always happen. So, few incident happening, and just because of this few incident, we take it as a war or a clash between two communities. That's very wrong. And if you take this as a war between, that is incorrect. So my message to the people for the rest of India is that don't judge us by what politician or by what people with vested interests accuse us without knowing us fully. Most of them does not even know where's Ichamati. Most of them does not even know what actually happening. So I feel that as a grown-up human being, as a civilized human being, let's not react emotionally. Let's know the facts first. Let's know the ground reality first. Let's know what is actually happening. And after knowing that, then let's try to solve the problem in a civilized manner.
Speaking to Media Plus, the General Secretary of the Central Puja Committee or the CPC, Shillong, Mr. J.L. Das, expressed the view that in the state there is no discrimination based on community or religion. In fact, the CPC's intention is to bring about peace and tranquility between all sections of society within the state of Meghalaya.
Well, you see, that is from the religious point of view, because I am representing Central Puja Committee, composition of all Hindu religious group, Marwari, Bihari, Bengali, all. So between it is not this CPC doesn't belonging to Bengali community only. It's a Hindu religious group. I'm representing. Some of our religious right, including Bengalis, there is no discrimination. Nobody can blame the Meghalayan that there is a religious discrimination is there. Since law time immortal, yes, you are right, very correct. It's burning example you see that you are referring to the Ichamati and Bolagan matter. No? So in that two places also, 8 Durga Puja was performed, 8. So I get the feedback because as General Secretary I have to collect the information from all over Meghalaya, whether you got any problem, this and that. Not a single complaint I received. CP used to convene all faith prayer and they get together harmony. For what? For this harmony. So I think that I cannot say that there is no, I cannot guarantee that there is no political or economic discrimination. There might be it is to be resolved, and it can be resolved across the table. If we can sit and if we can have a dialogue with the NGOs as well as the government, so we can have the solution. It is not desirable. That conflict should, and one thing we see, what is we are living together since time immortal, 60, 70. I am born and brought up in Shillong. So I am 65 plus. Because we have to, we love Meghalaya, we have to live in Meghalaya. We cannot leave the Meghalaya. But one thing that if we have any problem, we have to settle here. If outside people start who and cry, it is not in the hand of here. But one thing, it is not desirable. It is not desirable.
The chairman of the Indian Red Cross Society, Meghalaya, and former Home Minister of the state, SHRI R.G. LYNGDOH, while speaking on the communal tension at Ichamati, is of the view that economy could have been the cause of conflict between the Bengalis and khasis in the area. He also appealed to those with vested interest to find a different means to deal with the issue.
Bengalis and khasis have been coexisting for time immemorial. It's not something that is new. They have, in fact, right from the time when Sylhet was a part of Assam and Shillong was the capital of Assam, the interaction between khasis and Bengalis has been going on. It's not something that has just started yesterday or day before yesterday. And the trade, especially in the border areas of the southern border areas of Meghalaya with erstwhile Sylhet district and presently Bangladesh, I think it's something that also has been going on for time immemorial. What is new is the tension. The peaceful coexistence is something that is old, that has always been there. This tension is something that is new. And I think it is something that is imposed because I think the good relationships has grown organically over the years. But this new tension is something that has just come up and is something that has been imposed upon the people by outside forces.
Exactly.
That is my reading into it. It appears even the timing of these protests, the way that it has coincided with Durga Puja, makes me suspect that there is something devious going on behind the scenes. And I think the people of the area should remember the tradition of peaceful coexistence rather than getting carried away by the machinations of a few people with vested interest. I think we should allow the economic forces to carry on. Economy, business should be allowed to move on as usual because that is what glues the people together. We should not allow any outside forces to come in the way of business and trade. Let that carry on. And the relationships that have been there will carry on with the business and the trade. I think that is the first and foremost thing. We should not, give undue importance to what people from outside are trying to do.
Yes.
It would appear so. It would appear that there is some vested interest from both sides.
Okay.
I would not say that it's only one side because it takes two hands to clap. And if we want peace to come about also, both sides will have to want the peace. We cannot point the finger at one side and say, oh, it's their fault. Oh, it's their fault. The blame game will not bring any peace. Okay? The effort to bring peace has to come from both sides. I think that is very, very important. I would call upon all these vested interests not to stoke the fire. I would request them to find other ways or better ways of achieving whatever goal that they have. I don't think the sacrificing the peace, the security, the integrity of the social integrity, especially of the area, is worth, a worthy means for achieving any goal. I think in this particular case, the means that is being used is far too drastic. So I would request them, please look for other means of achieving your goals.
Meghalaya has been one of the states that has always been tolerant towards the existence of different communities, religions, and beliefs. There is no doubt that communal tension had arisen following the incident at Ichamati in the month of February this year, where mixed reactions had resulted then. However, while listening to the views and opinions of the people we had spoken to, it is evident that there is no such thing as religious or communal disparity between communities who have been living with each other since time immemorial.